Hey everyone, this is a recording of Thursday and Friday's lesson, depending on what period you're in. So this is for those that couldn't make it to class. We went over our first LT1, which was claim and evidence, and I'll demonstrate this now. But before we get started, I want to remind us of LT0, which is professionalism. So it's being able to meet deadlines on time, letting me know ahead of time if you can't come to class. So if you're watching this video because you didn't come to class, hopefully you have told me that. All right, so we did a Myths and Truths with Kahoot about COVID because we're getting started in our COVID unit. Unfortunately, I am not going to play this on this video. So the reminder is that we're constantly learning new things about COVID-19, and then we're going to use Learning Target 1, which is the claim and evidence, as a way to understand COVID a little bit more and investigate COVID. Okay, so speaking of LT1, this is LT1, which is the evidence-based claims, and we're going to be practicing that today. So mastering LT1, evidence-based claims, means that you can complete all three of the following, all three of these check marks. You can create a claim that answers the guiding question. You can cite at least 3 pieces of evidence. And having all of the evidence come from fact-checked sources. So if you do all of those 3 things, you have mastered this skill. So let's get started with that. So what even is claim evidence? That's what we'll be focusing on today. We'll be touching on reasoning, which is the scientific reasoning portion, which is LT2. So I'm just going to give you a preview of LT2, but really we're going to focus on claim and evidence. All right, so we're going to pretend like we are scientists, not pretend, we are scientists, and we're going to pretend that this is our research question. So our research question is Oakland the coolest place to live? So we're setting out to do this research. So a claim is a statement that answers a question. So our claim is going to answer this research question of, is Oakland the coolest place to live? So it should be 1 to 2 sentences long, full sentences, complete, and it must be specific and answer the question completely. So as researchers, we have concluded that yes, Oakland is the coolest place to live, of course. Okay, so now we know what our claim is. We're going to move on to the evidence portion. So our evidence portion, evidence is data that supports the claim. All right, so it can come in a couple of different forms. It can be numbers or observations. So it can be like literal number data, or it can be something you see, something you hear, something you smell, something you can touch. Okay, and so some evidence that we have come to the conclusion of that supports that yes, Oakland is the coolest place to live is that 1, there are many different types of people here. And that supports that Oakland is one of the coolest places to live. Another thing is that there is so much food and it is all so good. And that supports our claim that yes, Oakland is the coolest place to live. So that is now we have 2 pieces of evidence. We want 3, but right now we just have 2, but this is an example. So we would add more if we were doing a real assessment of this. But there's just 2. Now we have these 2. We're going to move on to reasoning. So reasoning is an explanation that connects evidence to claim. So the reasoning is like, why does this evidence support the claim? So it explains why the evidence supports the claim, and it mentions a specific scientific principle or uses logic. So because if gauging if Oakland is the coolest place to live is not really like technically science, we're going to use logic instead. So the reason that evidence number 1, that there are many different types of people here, support that Oakland is the coolest place to live, is because, to me, it's because different types of people leads to culture exchange, which makes for a richer culture. So I think because there's so many different types of people that live in Oakland, that makes Oakland's culture richer, which is why Oakland is the coolest place to live. So do you see how the reasoning connects the evidence to the claim? Okay, so then why is it that having so much food, so much good food, makes Oakland the best place to live? Well, to me, it's that good food equals good life. Enough said. So that is why I think that Oakland is a cool place to live as well. That's one of the reasons. So that would be the reasoning portion of claim evidence of reasoning, or for short, CER. All right. So that was a short and simplified version. We're going to move on. So we're going to watch a quick video and I will screen share it. Sorry, I didn't mean to scroll through all of that. And this is moving on to our classwork portion. We're going to watch this 30-question video and we're going to try to keep in mind that CER. So the research question is, are aliens real? And we're going to put ourselves into the head of this little girl because we're going to think about what her research question is. Are aliens real? And does she think it's real or does she not think it's real? So what is her answer to that question, which is her claim? And then what is the evidence that supports her answer or her claim? Okay, so I'm going to play this video real quick. Hang on a second, So hopefully that this makes the sound come through.
I have evidence that proves my dad.
Oops, let me full screen this and then here we go.
I have evidence that proves my dad's a space alien. He speaks a weird language. He drinks green stuff. He says he's from Albuquerque. I'm not buying it. I mean, just look at him. And one more thing, he has a spaceship. The evidence doesn't lie. My dad's an alien.
The highly advanced Audi A6, named to current drivers 10.
All right, so I'll give you a chance to think about it. What was her research? Her research question was, are aliens real? What was her answer? And what is her evidence for her answer? So she named a few things. Now, the research question is, are aliens real? Or more specifically, is her dad an alien? And so hopefully you came to the conclusion that yes, aliens are real, or yes, her dad is an alien. So what is her evidence that her dad is the alien? So if you want to pause the video and think about it, and then come back here. If not, she named 4 big pieces of evidence. So the first one is that her dad drinks green juice, which she finds odd. So she thinks he's an alien. The other one is that her dad speaks a language that no one else speaks on this planet, which is the sound of gargling, right? Another thing is that her dad wears these funny space-looking outfits, right? This goggle, and this helmet, and this like light-up suit like Buzz Lightyear. The other one is that her dad drives a spaceship. So those are her main 4 pieces of evidence. So now this is the part where I want you to get out your science notebook and go to slide number 8. Okay, so you go to your science notebook. Hopefully you completed it and turned it in last class. And you will go to slide number 8. Oops, 1 second. All right, so let's see, scroll down to slide number 8 because I am a magician and inserted slides into your slide deck. So you would see slide number 8. We did this in breakout rooms, but you're just gonna do it on your own if you haven't done it. So basically like here, you can see, I will zoom in so we can see. We can see that I've set it up so that we have our claim up here. Well, first we have the research question, which is he an alien? We have our claim. We have our 3 pieces of evidence that we want to write down according to our LT1s, right? And then we're going to go into reasoning, all right? But we're going to focus on claim and evidence first. So let me zoom in on this. So, okay, we have our definition of what a claim is. Oops, oh my goodness. We have a definition of what our claim is, which is the answer to the research question. So, what is the answer to the research question according to the little girl? According to the little girl, it is yes. He is an alien. Now, the three pieces of evidence, as I stated, one was that he drinks green juice. There's another one, he speaks a language no one else on Earth does. He has a spaceship, or he wears a funny like outfitter suit. That's kind of like Buzz Lightyear. All right, so then you'd write your evidence in here. So he drinks green juice. You'd write it here, and you'd write it here. Now, in your breakout rooms, I wanted you to do the reasoning part. And the reasoning part is a little more tricky. So I want you to use the sentence starter. The reason he is an alien based on the fact that he drinks green juice is because what? Why would drinking green juice make that girl think that her dad is an alien? For example, you could say, it's very confusing to scroll, because green juices are not usually things humans drink, and aliens are often green. So that would be the little girl's reasoning for why she thinks that drinking green juice makes her dad an alien. So do you see how reasoning, you are trying to connect the evidence to the claim through the reasoning. So try to think with the little girl. What is the little girl's reasoning for why having a spaceship makes her dad an alien? So as a little girl, you would maybe think, oh, she thinks that he's an alien because nobody else on Earth would have a spaceship other than an alien, right? So I want you to finish this reasoning as homework, or not as homework, on your own, okay? Now, let's see, was there something else? Okay. So I want to remind y'all, so your homework is slide 9 of the notebook. So you see this is slide 9. It is exactly what you just did in class with me, except you're gonna do it to a podcast that I want you to listen to. So a podcast is just like an audio recording of people talking. So there's a few different ways to listen to it. There's the New York Times podcast. So you can go to the New York Times and this link and then just play the podcast on your laptop or Chromebook. Or you could listen to it on Spotify if you have Spotify downloaded, or if you have Apple Podcasts, you can also listen to it through here. So this is, the article is, it takes about 30 minutes to listen to it. And basically it's just like the story of how this 9th grader in New York got COVID, what their symptoms were, and then like how he was treated in the hospital, and whether or not he survived or not. So as you're reading, as you're listening to it, I want you to be thinking about a claim and an evidence for the article. Now, the research question that you should keep in mind while you are listening to this, the research question is, do teens have the same COVID symptoms as adults? So it's asking you, if you were to get COVID as a teenager, would you have the same symptoms as your parent would as they are adults? Or would you guys have different symptoms because you guys are at different ages and your bodies are at different like stages, okay? So your claim is going to be either teens have the same COVID or symptoms as adults, or it's going to be no, teens do not, right, have the same symptoms as adults. So that is up to you to decide based on this article. And then you are going to find evidence, like what piece of data in this article did you find that supports the evidence? Maybe they said, oh, this little boy, this like ninth grader, not little boy, this young person, this ninth grader exhibited this symptom, but it was completely different than what we've seen in other COVID cases. Or maybe they're comparing the two, being like, yeah, they're like pretty on par with what adults get. They look very, very similar. Okay, they're both getting these symptoms, they're both getting these symptoms. So collect the pieces of evidence that would support your claim. Okay. And I believe that is it. So of course, do not forget that your science notebooks are due Wednesday and Sunday. And so this would be due Sunday at midnight. All right, so the 30th coming up. Hopefully, if this video doesn't make sense, you can make it to office hours. And that is it. So do let me know if you need help with anything. That's it. Bye.